we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, we're focused on Star Trek: The Original Series, season one, episode. Oh, I'm gonna swap me. I like being here. I'm gonna put Father down here too. You guys could be up there. All right. See, I always get distracted. All right.
Story.
The Devil in the Dark is what we're talking about today. So welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Excellent. We already have quite a lively chat going on for this one. Robbie, I would like to nominate you. Oh, by the way, Trek on the Tube is late. He's supposed to be here. So I hope he's hearing this and he feels ashamed that he's late and everyone else made it on time. Robbie, would you... That was really awkward. I'm sorry. I don't know if he's actually listening. Robbie, would you mind doing the episode summary for this one?
Sure.
Awesome.
The Enterprise crew, Spock, Bones, and Kirk come across. They're on a silicon facility, and this employee is killed by a Horta, and Kirk and Spock go to investigate and try to figure out what this Horta wants and neutralize it.
Absolutely. But what do they neutralize it? I guess they do in a way. You're right. They neutralize the threat for sure. Good summary. Oh, here he is. And he's the top man today. Look how it automatically bumped Fathery to the top tier and put you next to me. Like I didn't even do that.
Oh my god, there's so many people there today. Hello
We're
everyone.
the top tier. Y'all are the lower decks.
We're the lower decks. It's true.
I'm fine with that. I'll be lower decks with Starfleet Boy. We're sipping margaritas.
Actually, I'm sipping tea. I do have Hangover: The Next Generation though.
Sorry I'm late.
Shame.
It's okay.
You should have just gone live. You know I'm late.
We did go live.
We are live.
You are live.
We're live.
Really?
We went
go.
without you.
We've been live for 3 minutes.
Robbie did the summary.
We already did the episode summary.
The episode summaries.
Good.
You missed it.
Good. Thank you, Robbie. You've done it. It's out of the way. At least it won't take a million years.
Well, welcome. So what did you all think? Let's start with you, Trek on the Tube. What did you think of this episode? Yeah, since you're late, you get to go first.
I love this episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the original series. I want to follow up to this episode. My opinion of this episode is it needs a follow up where we see the miners and the creature collaborate and continue mining the planet, but like doing it together respectively. Anyway, I think it's great. I love the whole thing about there's a villain or an antagonist, but it's not really a villain. It's just someone else trying to live their life and do their thing. There's the whole mystery with the eggs. Spock has the scenes. We got the I'm not a bricklayer. I don't know. It's all good. I love it all.
And also, I could cure a rainy day is my favorite line.
It's very suspenseful. Like I feel like it's very thrilling, but then the resolution is heartwarming, and there's also this kind of like mind blowing thing about it's not a carbon based life form. It's a silicon based life form. So yeah, I think it's top notch.
Were the killer crystals from TNG also silicone based life forms in that episode?
The crystalline entities.
Yeah, no, the bags of mostly water episode where they're mining also. They're terraforming on this planet, remember? And they're using this like.
I think it is silicon.
It was silicone based. Oh, I never put that together before, but like that's the Horta of TNG because it was killing everyone. Remember, it was killing all those people on the terraforming thing. It was trying to get revenge for the thousands that were being killed, and
I do want to
Oh.
say that for all the shit that the original series gets for like the creature designs and like people obviously it's a man with like a carpet moving around doing the water. It's like I've never seen that and I don't see that. I believe it 100% that it's like a lava rock monster.
Yeah.
And I don't see the man moving it. The Gorn is different. I see that it's like some person
I
moving it.
still love the Gorn though.
I still love the
think it
Gorn.
works, yeah.
But yeah. I
I think you should
leave the
just.
floor to someone else. Go ahead.
I think you could do that same Gorn today with just lighting being different and
Yes.
a little more texture added, just a little or something, and it would be flawless.
I actually
And the
think
same
that
for
if you
same
if
for
you
the
had
Horda.
like with a visual effects team behind the Mandalorian, that kind of stuff, I think they could actually literally recreate a Gorn, but with VFX. Not the Enterprise Gorn, not that thing.
The Star Trek visual effects team can do it too, not just the Mandalorian people.
Well, it
I
depends
like
on
that you're
who.
like
Not
not the
person
Star
who
Trek
does,
people.
not the person,
Hey,
not the person
only
who
the
does the ice.
Mandalorian people can bring back the Gorn, not the Star Trek people. Wow, you have little faith. Father, what did you think of this?
The Gorn needs oh no, I can't say it because that's
Lucasfilm?
spoilers, but the Gorn needs the attention that other characters need on the Mandalorian.
Gotcha. What did you think, Father?
I think this episode was neat.
Why? What's going on?
Because there's a comment that says the Horta looks like bad school cafeteria pizza. I find that clever.
It does look like a giant sausage on a pizza. It's true.
I tried to get Dave to join us today because I know this is like one of his favorite episodes of all time, and
Is
he's
he too busy
obsessed
or
with the Horta to the point where I accuse him of having a Horta fetish. Like
Oh, wow.
I think that I mean this might be more of a Starfleet Boy After Dark topic to talk about, but I think he loves the Horta so much he literally wants to F a Horta because he talks about it all the time. Like he wants there to be like Horta characters on like new Star Trek shows.
It's
What was
all that silicone.
What did he say that he couldn't come on for? Dave, come on! You got to come on and talk about the Horda.
We're recording some content later that he has to.
Oh,
be
nice!
ready
I like
for.
it. Well, ask him when you talk to him about if he knew, and you might already know the answer to this, Father. But does he know about the dilithium Horda? And when I found out about the dilithium Horda, I was like, "Oh snap! That should have been on the planet of dilithium. There should be dilithium Horda on that planet. It would have made it even cooler in Star Trek Discovery season 3. But yeah, apparently Horda can come in many different. They can evolve depending on what minerals they absorb, and so this is in the Apocrypha, like in the extra. It's not ever on screen, of course, but you can have like Horda that are like more composed more of like various elements or minerals based on
So they're Pokemon.
what they eat. Yeah, they're Pokemon. Wow, they're Pokemon. The Horde, Star Trek invented Pokemon. That's amazing.
Don't blame that on Star Trek.
That's very cool, though. I love that Dave loves the Horda. I think they are pretty.
I love that Fathery doesn't like Pokemon. He's got these things that he doesn't. He's like, fuck Pokemon and fuck Harry Potter. He's got specific
Harry
things
Potter's
that he
the
just
worst.
no way.
I'm so ready for like people to get over Harry Potter, and I like can.
They won't get
go
over
on-
it. There's a new show coming.
People are gonna get over it. In 55 years, it's not gonna be like the big deal. Like what Star Trek is now. Like Harry Potter's not gonna have that in 55 years.
Ooh.
I'll have you know, sir, that Daniel Radcliffe was the William Shatner of a big generation. Like he was the. Oh
He
yeah,
is. I think he's gonna be forgotten.
I feel like so many people love Daniel Radcliffe like unconditionally.
I don't
Who
think
loves
anyone
him?
could
I don't
be.
know
By the
anyone
way,
who
just
loves him.
I don't know if anyone could be the William Shatner of their
Well, Chris
generation.
Pine
I'm sorry to
was.
say. No, I don't think there's like. I just think William
It's a
Shatner
tough
is
act
the
to
William.
follow.
And not only that, he's the William Shatner of many generations. Like lots of different people know.
Yeah,
like
there's
lots of
different
generations.
Shats
There's
over
different. There are different Shats. Yes, this is true. Anyways, we digress. Ian, any opening thoughts about this
I'm
to add?
I'm there. As I said, it's one of my favourites as well. when I was little, it terrified me. I thought the halter was real. But yeah, I mean the effects as well. I mean the part of the halter that has been shot off there and it's pulsing and everything. I mean for the day, the effects were okay. It said it was a 10-inch pizza as opposed to whatever of what you want to say. But at the time, I really do like this episode. It's I think I think you said I think they could do with a flop. I just think Sean said it. I think I agree. It's one of those characters that they could bring on. But something I heard somebody say. I know Taz has said that in beta canon that they go all over the place, but isn't the halter mentioned in Lower Decks?
Oh,
Yeah.
was it?
Something mentioned.
Oh,
Halter
right
in Lower
on.
Decks.
Task coming in here with the cool facts. In beta canon, the Horta became members of the Federation, engaging in most of the mining throughout the Federation space. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that comment, and then I swear somebody said.
What
I
was
can't
the?
remember.
I can't remember the mention in Lower Decks of the Horta. What was it again?
I think I heard somebody say, "Oh, it's in Lower Decks." Just brief,
Okay.
but yeah, no,
I don't know if it's in Lower Decks. It's in Deep Space. They mention it in Deep Space Nine, but I don't know if they mention it in Lower Decks.
What do they mention of it in DS9? I don't remember.
Oh, it's in it's in the school.
Oh yeah.
They don't mention it, but there's like a diagram of all the creatures, and so they have those little stick figures from the original series, whatever they are. They've also got a Horta there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Those little two.
Yeah, it was in Keiko's classroom.
Yeah, I think they must have tribbles. I'm assuming there's like tribbles on that board too.
What would happen if you combined a Horta with tribbles? You'd get a furry Horta. Robbie, what did you think of the Horta?
I like the concept and the fact that it was seen as, this angry mother. It was nice to see that Spock and Kirk, they weren't sure whether the Horta had bad intentions, and Spock is first like, no, don't kill it, and then he changes his mind, and they're a bit unsure.
Yeah, he was like, I see no other choice but to also, destroy it or whatever. Because it killed 50, right? 50 of the miners. That's like a lot of people. Although they killed thousands of its eggs, as we find out later on. I really loved that it was somehow charmed or intrigued by Captain Kirk. What did you guys think of that scene?
It couldn't resist Kirk.
Right? Like not even the Horta could resist Kirk, and Kirk even finds it. Kirk even finds it a little hard to believe when Spock's insulting humans later on. He's like, "Well, it's funny. The Horta actually said the same thing about humans, except it did like my ears." And he's like, "Really, Spock? It really liked your ears?" It's like really funny.
This is a very similar type.
Seems like he was holding his weapon that the Horta was just enamored with it.
It's a very similar type story to what we get in Arena, isn't it? Because they're both like, look at this like space monster, this deadly space monster that like the captain has to confront, and then it's like, oh, it's actually like okay to be friends with it at the end.
Right. Not just friends, they become partners, and apparently these space miners are gonna get like hella rich from this. That was another cool thing, is that the episode just opens straight on the mining operation, and there's like this little it was just the opening, the teaser was not even, had nothing to do with the crew.
There were no regular cast.
Yeah, there were no regular. That's what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
It's a really interesting cold open. There are very few scenes in the original series with none of the regulars at all. Typically there's going to be either Scotty or McCoy or Kirk or somebody is going to be, one of the regulars is going to be in every scene, right? And then occasionally you'll do like a scene where it's like all guest stars, but this might be the only time like they open like that. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of like Columbo, where you see like the crime at the beginning, and then
really good
you have
point.
like the opening credits, and then it shows like the Enterprise, coming to like, okay, we have to go investigate this now. It feels like kind of more like a procedural, like cop show, something.
Yeah, exactly. It also sets up this idea of like the Enterprise is coming. Like I think it was like something like it's gonna take 4 hours. There was some kind of anticipation, like everything's gonna be okay. The Enterprise is on the way, and I wonder, like I kind of like enjoyed that motif or that like bit.
It would be that way, though, wouldn't it? Like if you were on some sort of remote planet, it's just a team of you guys or whatever, you're mining, whatever it is that you're doing, and there's something happening. It would be like that. You would be like, oh my god, like they sent a ship, and especially if they send like the flagship. I don't know if like it's established at this point in the original series that they are the flagship, or if it's just
I don't know
one
if
of
it
the
is.
ships.
They never mention it being a flagship in the original. That's something that they made up later with like the Next Generation.
Okay, well, they came up with it because they just did a second Enterprise. But yeah, it's like you would assume that having a ship on the way, like, oh my god, they're gonna save us. I know that generally speaking, up until now in the original series, it's always been kind of the other way around. Like every time the Enterprise is coming, they're like, oh shit, because there's always something. There's like a problem. Like in the Man Trap, clearly, there's something going on the planet. So the Enterprise is coming. We don't need your salt. Just give us your salt and then go away. But yeah,
I always think of the French. You were talking about how in France, Star Trek is called Space Patrol, and I feel like
not in
what
France.
Was it? Where is
it was in Quebec.
Oh, in Quebec.
Because in Quebec they changed things that way, but it was only the original series.
Right, but it's just kind of like
it's not even Space Patrol. It's like Patrouille du Cosmos, so it's like Cosmos Patrol.
Patrouille du Cosmos.
Yeah, la Patrouille du Cosmos. So
I
Cosmos
love it when you
Patrol.
it. I just love it. Very nice. Say more things in French on Starfleet Boy. Kirk and Spock think that they're talking to a pizza. Oh, that's so funny. Horda Mom digs pointed ears. Jill's on a roll. You're making me crave pizza now. Here we go. Do you think Kirk would practice his own form of panspermia with the Horda? There's some wild stuff going on in the comments. Oh my. No, I don't think so, Daniel. I don't think that would happen. Maybe. I mean, isn't that panspermia spontaneous reproduction, right?
I was about to say, I don't even know what that is, so...
I'm pretty sure panspermia means spontaneous reproduction, which is what the Horda seems to do. It was really... Speaking of that, thank you, actually, Daniel, because that did bring up something interesting. I found it extremely interesting that, like... how much information Spock was able to get from the Horda showed how intelligent it actually was, but it just couldn't speak our language, right? Well, I mean, it could write, I guess, using like its whatever method it uses to burn through rocks. I guess it's its tongue or something. Like it's probably like licking.
It's like it's like scribbling with its tongue. No kill NOKIL.
It's like you pee in the snow. It's that bit. It's when you're trying to make pictures when you're peeing in the snow. That's when you're that's what it was.
Well, apparently, you know what it reminded me of is like elephants have a language apparently, or some kind of form of communication that's like beyond the perceptible range of human hearing, and they're doing it constantly around each other. It's like a kind of like a low level kind of humming, and they're people who study elephants have found that like this interesting thing, and elephants are really interesting. But that's what I thought of with the Horda, is that like it could probably like. We know elephants can understand English to a degree because we can train an elephant to do certain things and it remembers words, right? Like, or whatever. So it reminded me of that in a sense. It's like the Horda probably communicates on this like sub or higher than human hearing level, and its language is probably something that we could, we wouldn't be able to easily translate. Anyways, I liked that 50,000 years, the entire species dies out except for this one Horda, and then it becomes the mother of all the hatchlings, and I thought that was such an interesting.
How does it become that way though? Like, how does the planet evolve the species to do that? Because that doesn't seem very safe. I mean, there must have been like some sort of cataclysmic event that happened every so often on the planet, that would wipe out all of the living water, but that maybe it wouldn't wipe out the eggs or something. For this thing to happen, it would. I don't know.
Yeah,
Interesting events.
It's weird that it could have evolved that way.
It's a silicon-based life form, so it could evolve in weird
What do we know?
ways that, yeah, what do we know? But what I will say is that the planet seems to be like a, what was it they said? It was kind of volcanic or something like that, right? Like,
volcanic.
yeah, so it makes kind of sense that like maybe every 50,000 years there's like a mass extinction level event that occurs, like certain gases are released or like the atmosphere changes, so it's a natural cycle of the planet, but somehow this one Horta is able to, you know, one out of all of the Horta that are ever born
That's
has like
interesting.
has an immunity to it or something like that, and that's,
I'm assuming the
that's
planet
really-
has tectonic plates the same way we do, right? So, like, you
It
could
may
imagine
not.
that maybe there's a big shift. All of like these not toxic gases are released into the atmosphere, and so no living Horta can like survive it. Only the eggs can. And so when the eggs hatch, after the gas is dissipated, anyway,
Plus the one Horta, the mother Horta.
the Mother Horta lives on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a mother Horta.
Indeed,
Fine.
indeed.
I'll take that.
What did you guys think of the mind meld scene? I think this was the first, right? Is this the first mind meld?
No, the
No.
first mind meld is with Van Gilder.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
There's
You're right.
been
But
like
what did you
5
think of
mind
this?
melds by now.
No, that's true. You're right. My bad.
But they
This is
didn't even
what I
call
thought.
that original one. They didn't even call it a mind meld. I think it was just like a Vulcan.
Then why does? Yeah, why does Spock have to explain it? I forget. That's why I guess it made me
was
think
like
it was the first
My
one.
mind to your mind, my thoughts to your
Right.
thoughts, all that stuff.
Well, they didn't even call it a mind meld, did they? They called it the joining of two minds. That's
Right.
That's what Spock says.
that-
You remember?
Right.
You're aware of the. You remember the of the joining of minds, or joining the two minds. That's what he said. He didn't call it a mind meld.
But you would have to explain it every new episode, I guess. Like, not only is the show episodic, but the producers and everyone that put out these shows are probably just assuming that you're
Not
getting
everyone's
new
watching.
new audiences or different audiences every episode. So it's like, oh, if you're gonna do something that's really freaking out there, you need to explain it. It's not like Harry Potter, for example, where you're in the 6th film, you don't have to explain what's going on in the 5 first ones.
Mm.
Everyone already knows because everyone's already seen the movies.
I've never seen any of them because I don't watch dumb
And
stuff.
he's never
but-
seen The Sound of Music either, by the way.
I haven't seen that either.
That's true. I've never watched The Sound of Music.
Neither have I.
You've never seen
I've not seen.
what?
How do you feel about that now?
Robbie, have you seen The Sound of Music?
No, I've not seen it.
Yeah, you're the only one here who's watched
You're the
it.
only one.
Odd Man Out.
So that makes you wrong. I mean, technically speaking, he's
It
shocked.
makes me. I think it makes me
shocked and appalled.
special. But I'm a little shocked. I thought that was
No,
much
that's no word for
more
it.
widely.
If it can comfort you, I think Larry Nemechek has probably seen The Sound of Music, and he would defend you.
Wow, that does comfort me somehow. I'm a little surprised though. It's like a classic. I thought it was a classic. Like I thought everyone saw it. Can I?
We've all seen clips of it, but I have no need to sit and watch the film.
No, but it's a great. It's truly a great film. I highly.
Oh, yeah.
recommend
I forget it exists until someone shows the clip of the lady dancing, right? But like, I've seen The
It's a-
Mummy, 1999, if that counts.
Wow, no, that doesn't count. It's not the same thing. Wow. Well, if you ever do see The Sound of Music, let me know what you think of it, because now I'm really curious. Yeah, Jill says The Sound of Music was the biggest thing that happened in films that decade. It was like a huge thing, but I guess it didn't.
I thought it was.
It didn't
older
live
than
on.
It is. Like I thought it was like from the 30s, but then I found out it was actually like from the 50s. Like I didn't,
Well,
I didn't
it's
know
not-
what Christopher
60s,
Plummer
it's
did.
65.
So that sort of gives it away, sort of when it was done.
Tass says maybe the Horta is like some turtles. And then why can't silicone life forms survive in oxygen? They just threw that out there. Oh, that's right. So I guess just how it's like probably used to being in like more of a underground environment.
Yeah. It lives in rock.
So it's breathing like whatever concentrations of gases are down there as opposed to, oxygen. I think that there's some places on Earth if you go underground that it's really hard to breathe, and you have to actually wear like assistive devices to go that deep as well. So it kind of fits. I like that they're kind of like, in a way, what are those animals that everyone gets annoyed at on golf courses that dig tunnels everywhere? Is it badgers?
Moles?
No, not moles. Thank you. Yeah,
Or gophers.
gophers. That's what I was thinking.
Groundhogs,
Also,
is that it?
yeah.
No, groundhogs don't.
Right,
They don't.
gophers
They don't.
dig like
Yeah,
that, do they?
but gophers and moles for sure. It's true. They're so cute too. They're just like little things.
Did they
I don't
really
know,
dig
I
up
find-
golf courses though?
Yeah.
They'll like dig through your yard.
All right.
And they
And
make,
it
like,
destabilizes
tunnel systems.
It's quite a nuisance because it destabilizes the
Well,
ground.
New
so,
Zealand
like-
has a lot of golf courses, but they don't have any like moles or anything. So like they've only got birds.
I'm gonna introduce some to New Zealand and ruin the golf courses there.
They'll get so mad at you. They've already got a plan to literally eradicate every single rat from New Zealand in like 2050. So if you bring in
Is this real? Like to
yes,
to
this is
remove rats?
yes.
Is it because rats were never there to begin with?
Rats were never
or-
there to begin with.
Mm,
So the plan is to like just
that's fascinating. eh?
mass eliminate every single rat in
So
existence.
terrible. Can't they
It's-
move them to like a more rat-friendly environment instead?
Like Australia.
I think. Yeah, exactly. They just ship them back off to Australia. Be gone. I don't
Oh
know.
my
Look,
goodness.
I don't know enough about the subject to tell you why they've come to this radical solution. But
This is it kind of fits. It's kind of the same thing with the Horde. I feel like New Zealand people need to re-evaluate.
you watch
this.
Star Trek?
Yeah, like I feel like that's kind of I don't
No,
know.
but
it kind
rats
of,
really suck. They'll like
no,
go
not
into your-
necessarily. Rats
they'll
can
like go into
they're
your kitchen
misunderstood
and,
as
like,
well.
like get into your food and they'll just
Yeah,
like take
I
over your
can't, I
home
can't
if you
see
don't kill
rats
them.
bringing out. The Horta will mine stuff for you.
Yeah.
I can't see rats
What's a
doing
rat gonna
anything.
do? They carry diseases. They'll bring diseases to you.
Oh my god! All these things are things that people thought about the Horta as well until they realized that they were intelligent.
It's interesting to think that we've never had an episode of Star Trek where there's just the common rats. Like, I mean, we get those Cardassian voles, but like when you
Star
think
Trek
about
2,
it,
Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan. There is a rat on the station.
That's
is
true.
there? Okay,
Yes,
because
that's true.
It wouldn't.
I
Make
always
sense. Like,
wondered about that too. Like it's
rats
eating,
would
right?
be-
It's
they would get everywhere, or like rodents from any friggin' planet, like even alien rodents. You know, they would like board starships and then just they would get everywhere. And then I mean, I guess in Discovery they have the Dot 23s to take care of them now, and the Dot 7s to just like zap them. But
P.S. I have a big crush on Commander Giotto. He's my type. Which one was he?
He was head of security. He was the commander.
Yeah,
I totally.
he's the silver-haired guy.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah,
Ian,
Toddy, if you can pull him.
Ian, you could cosplay him too.
you want me to show you the Mister?
Yeah, let's take a look at Giotto. Someone on Twitter pointed out that he was the only other commander other than Spock, a full commander.
Well, there is a gap in there that when Spock is melding with Horta, on Kirk doesn't communicate. He calls him Lieutenant Commander, but he's a
Oh, okay.
so there's a small gap.
Here he
Here,
is.
Did he have the braids of a full commander?
They had braids for full commander.
Yeah, they goofed.
They did. It was a goof.
well, Kirk just does field demotions at random. Like if he's not pleased.
He did that to Decker when he in the motion picture. He's like, "I'm taking over command, and you're temporarily reduced in grade to commander." It's like you didn't have to demote his rank. I think you could have left him a captain. But that's just being a jerk.
There's only one captain on a ship.
He gets his own back. He changes his name to Commodore. So you find
By the way, guys, I'm wearing my Valentine's shirt today instead of my usual uniform. So you guys stun me. There
Oh,
you
how
go.
cute!
Yes,
is that
it is
is that because Sean's on today? Is that what it is? Is it? It's because
What's that?
Is that because Trek on the Tube's on today? Is that why you've got the DVD?
There you go. It's true. Trek on the Tube straight up ignored my fleets that I was doing for him and didn't respond to them. He didn't even see them, and they're gone now. Yeah, so he's actually, that's not for him. Actually,
That confused me so much. I had no idea what was going on with any of that.
With all my fleets, with our fleets are back and forth. You have to watch both our fleets.
I guess I don't know what a fleet is.
It was a clever attempt to get more people to engage with both of our content.
Clever.
It was clever because it actually happened. I don't know about you, but I got a ton of engagement from those fleets. So
I got plenty of people legitimately worried that we were beefing or something.
Oh, that's funny.
But we're not. We're fine.
We're fine.
Is there going to be like a civil war in our community?
I
don't know who I would side with. I would feel torn.
I don't know, but if that day ever comes, all I know is that everyone better be on my side.
Well, if there really is a civil war in the Star Trek community, the big fight would be people wouldn't true fight. They'd fight like Clinton, Black Widow fight. You know, in the scene they kind of fight, but they don't want to hurt each other.
Right.
They're against each other, but not really. It would be the same thing. Everyone would like pretend fight.
Is that what Captain America and Iron Man were doing too? Were they pretend fighting?
I don't think Captain America and Iron Man were pretend fighting.
No.
Yeah, that seemed pretty. Oh, baby's mad.
I know.
Yeah, if you want to come talk about Devil in the Dark.
Devil in the Dark. I think to me, well, we started talking about the mind meld scene, and what I wanted to say about that scene was that I really loved Leonard Nimoy's performance as the Horda, the personification of the Horda. I thought that was really, really well done, and I thought, everyone, when I posted on Twitter, I think Ian wrote pain, like that was like the initial thing, and it's true, like there's all this like really very emotive, kind of very like what's the word for it, like kind of primal. It seems he gets really primal in his performance, and then all the stuff like in just like half sentences and half words, you're able to like learn so much about the Horda just through Spock talking about like the Vault of Ages and like like all these like cool names for it has all these cool names for like it's the different caverns and like the eggs themselves and everything like that. What did you guys think of that?
I like that the episode kind of has a double meaning. Like, who is the devil in the dark? Because like the Horda referred to the humans as the devils, and
right.
And so you could interpret it as like, yeah, this was her home. And, she lived here with her eggs to repopulate her species. And then these intruders beam down and start, like, killing the babies.
Intruder.
Yeah, it's like, the humans are definitely, like, the devil from that perspective. But, then, like, on the human side, it's like, oh, there's, like, this monster running around in these scary caverns killing us one by one.
Is it a Halloween episode? Does it feel like a Halloween episode to you guys?
This would be I think I would put it in my Halloween episode list for sure. I mean,
does like what quantifies as a Halloween episode? Like,
every horror episode from the original series, which is basically like 70% of them.
Yes, like if you're like anything that's has a horror element to it is Halloween, then I suppose.
It's just thematically, I get a lot of orange in this episode, but
yeah, there's because of all the why was the one guy purple? Did they ever explain it? In the mob.
The chief.
Oh, that's right. I guess okay. That's right. I forgot about that.
That just reminded me. They made the swims, the wetsuits in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. All those different ones. And they had all, like the bright yellow, and it was just all bright yellow and bright orange and what have you.
The colors in the mine were amazing, even though like some of the tunnels should have been like perfectly cylindrical, I guess, and they had like actual walkways, like walking paths. Like I still thought it was like one of the best production value type sequences they've done, and it really struck me how high quality everything looked. I noticed they remastered the Horda coming through the wall, because if I remember correctly, I think the last time I saw it was unremastered, and it's like just the wall kind of glows red and disappears, right? Like, and then the Horda comes through in the original series. But yeah, it was really cool. I liked the colors a lot. That was something that struck me, is just like how great the colors were in this episode. Triangular Audio Studio says, funny Devil in the Dark story. Shatner and Nimoy's scenes were filmed separately as Shatner's father died, and he had to attend his father's funeral, so certain shots had to be refilmed once Shatner returned. I didn't realize that it was that many shots. I was looking for that, like when I heard that somewhere on Twitter. I think someone commented on Twitter about it, so I was looking for it when I was rewatching it, and it was edited pretty well. Like, you couldn't really tell that there's any
There is one
difference.
time you can tell it's Shatner.
Wait, sorry, Ian, what was that?
You can tell that in that there is just a one bit in the mind meld scene. It's the camera's from behind, and you can tell it's a stand-in.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not Shatner.
It's just
exactly,
because I don't have the.
Shatner's actually said as well that this is his favourite episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I did think it was funny how, like, Spock is melded, and he's talking about going through the cavern, and to where he could find the part that they needed. But it takes Kirk a really long time to figure it out, and it took me only like 2 seconds, maybe because I'd watched it before. But like they keep showing shots of the tunnel, and then shots of Captain Kirk thinking, and then shots of the tunnel, and it happened like 4 times before Kirk was like, "Oh, I'll walk through the tunnel," and that's what it's trying to tell me. So I did think that was like a little odd choice of like editing, but I liked it. I still thought it was cool.
Two
Robbie,
observations.
Oh, go ahead.
I said 2 observations for me. I think it's the first time they actually say Vulcan, because they've been saying Vulcan. They've been, up until this point, they've been saying Vulcanian. So I think it's that one. And there's just one little bit. It's the first time you see conflict between Kirk and Spock, because there is a bit. Because obviously Spock saying, well, he said earlier, he said, if you kill it, it's against science. It's the worst thing you could do for science. And then when he tells the security guys try and capture it, Kirk actually tells Spock to go and help Scotty. Actually tells him to go away, and it's not until there's a little bit of levity.
I remember
Spock,
that. Yeah.
to one, it's there, but that's the first time you ever really see a little bit of conflict between the two of them.
Oh, interesting. I didn't catch that. Now I have to go back and watch it for those cues. But I do remember him sending him off in the other direction. By the way, I love all the Scotty stuff in this episode too. When he's like, what was it, like, the equipment's so old, he's like, I haven't seen one of those in ages, and then he has to like put together this like rig to make it work, and he's like talks about being a plumber and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good stuff with that.
You only see 4 of the main cast in this one. You don't, because when Kirk comes back onto the bridge, it's a man in the communication station, and there's no Sulu as well. So it literally is Scotty, McCoy, Kirk, and Spock. Those are the main characters that you see of the main cast.
Very cool. You keep cutting out. Is that happening to everyone or just me?
Yeah, I'm.
It's the new mic. I'm struggling. Maybe I'm struggling with the new mic.
Oh no, but you sounded fine. I think it's something with the internet connection, probably.
It's the interwebs.
Damn it, Scotty, we need you now. I totally lost my train of thought. But this is where Robbie's going to save the day and take us to the next observation or subject. What else about this episode, Robbie?
I quite like the set design.
The sets?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool. I like the work that they did in this episode a lot. Earlier, Truck on the Tube was talking about how like you could totally have the Horta just like they are, except for the people who work on the Mandalorian would work on the new Horta and stuff like that. Why do you think we haven't seen the Horta come back?
Okay, you know what? This is a thing that I've wanted for some, and it's not just the Horta. It's like there are so many planets that we explore, like one-time planets that we explore in the original series and the Next Generation, and I think they could be used as just like, I don't necessarily think that we should revisit all of the planets we've been to as like an entire episode. But you know those little kind of cold opens that have nothing to do with, like, those little segments that have nothing to do with the rest of the episode? I think we could do that and have like show people, oh, what's going on the planet with the Horta, and then it cuts to the actual story. And Lower Decks kind of did that with their finale, where they showed us what was going on Beta 3, and then they moved on to like another story entirely. So maybe like Lower Decks will give us the Horta. But I don't know. I would love to see them again. I really would.
Horta crew member on the starship? On a starship?
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, because these are like Horta are not lesser life forms, like, you know, dogs or even elephants. They're all lesser life forms, right?
Oh,
that's what the Ferengi called Porthos in Enterprise.
That's what the Ferengi.
A lower life form.
Yeah, it's true.
A lower, or is it? It's not a lesser.
Yeah,
but
lower.
yeah, so
that's what
I would argue.
I tell that to my dog. I call him a lower life form whenever I'm mad at him. Like, you lower life form.
What were you gonna say, Robbie?
I would argue the Ferengi are a lower life form.
Oh no! Oh, no!
Shots fired!
Oh, boom.
Shots fired at the front. Yeah,
But,
Riker would argue that as well. It's true.
But yeah, no, the Horta are not lower life forms, right? So clearly they could eventually, I suppose. But like, wouldn't it be interesting? Because they originally in Discovery season 1, they wanted Ripper, they wanted the tardigrade to join the crew. Yeah. So you start like assembling a crew of basically like Species 8472, Horta, a tardigrade. It's like a mess.
Some Xindi aquatics.
Some Xindi aquatics.
Throw them in for good measure. Daniel Co has a question. Part 1. I have a question that I've heard all sorts of critics and fans post throughout the years about this episode. So I'll be the devil's advocate in the dark. Nice. Okay, so then the question is, why do you think Kirk was less willing to kill the Horta but more willing to kill the salt vampire? I do realize it was McCoy who dispatched the salt monster, not Kirk. Like, that's an interesting question. I'd have to think about that.
Just written by different people.
That's the real life reason. We have to delve into the mind of Captain Kirk for Daniel and answer this question. We do have a couple of answers though. Somehow Earl Grey Trekkie already answered in the chat this question. So
well, I also think that the salt vampire was more of a predator that had to kill. And
it wasn't a mother.
The Horta doesn't. The Horta was just a misunderstanding. The salt vampire wouldn't be, something you could like negotiate with. It would be like, no, like I have to kill you and take your salt in order to live.
I think maybe Kirk felt personally tricked and attacked by the salt vampire and that situation, because he was like tricked into giving salt and into believing that the situation was something that it wasn't, where the Horta wasn't doing that. The Horta was just trying to protect its eggs. There was no like ruse. So maybe he felt a bit more,
It's a horrible death, by the way. You get literally like melted and then absorbed, because all it left behind was like a silhouette of you.
Hey, that's space. When you sign up, you're ready for this.
It's true. Space is a dangerous place.
Kirk had a really different, because at the beginning he just wanted to kill. He
kill it on sight.
He didn't know half of it. So Kirk was there to kill, and it wasn't until halfway through the episode that he had a really change of heart to say not to kill him, not to kill the Horta.
I like the coffee scene. I always wondered where that meme came from, by the way, like the GIF meme that people use of Kirk like lowering the cup of coffee, and there's that like chart behind him, and I totally didn't realize. It's funny how many of these memes now, as I'm watching TOS, I'm like, oh, that's where that's from, which is
rock dildo.
Yeah.
This may sound very controversial, but when you're at your job, it's always complicated to be like 100% every day doing everything right. Except like our jobs aren't captains of starships, and so maybe there are some days where Captain Kirk is just like, you know what, I don't have time to fuck around and try to figure out what's going on. Just like kill the thing. Let's move on. You know what? Maybe.
Spoken like a true fan of Captain Janeway, because that's what she kind of does, right? Like
She
that's
doesn't
kind
do
of
that.
Janeway's MO.
That's not true.
Right? By the way, I think I was wrong about panspermia earlier. So it's my understanding of panspermia, the panspermic hypothesis, that an alien being or alien bacteria had traveled through the cosmos, seeding different worlds. That's very cool too. So yeah, Captain Kirk is seeding different worlds. And
Guess that's one word for it.
with ideas about the Federation.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's
what
interesting
he's
because
doing.
Captain Kirk never really gets involved with like up until now, like in my
So
rewatch of the
far,
original series, he
yeah.
doesn't do that. Sometimes he's very manipulative. He pretends to like ladies so that he can kind of like find a way out or
He
use
pretends
them
to
get out of-
like ladies. You're saying he
Yeah.
really loves Spock. You're on my team
maybe
here.
maybe
Like, yeah,
look, I don't know.
That's
But
interesting. No, I think
there's
that
one
like
romance he actually had, which was with the daughter of the mass murderer that was killing for her father.
that's Kodos, right?
Yes.
But even in the Conscience of the King, he was kind of like using her to get closer to.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, like,
I think Kirk was a serial monogamist, because if you remember he'd go on from woman to woman, but he'd stay with them for a while. Because if you remember where he's on trial,
court martial.
yeah, because
Oh,
he'd had
yeah.
a relationship
They'd been
with
an idol.
her who ended up being the prosecutor, because he said,
That's right.
defend me, and she couldn't. But I think they had been in a relationship, and also there was Carol Marcus and all those types. It wasn't until sort of later where they used it as a vehicle. I mean that's why they got rid of Janice Rand, because it was always going to be that they were going to form a relationship, but they found out that it wasn't going to happen, so they got rid of her, and then Kirk was starting to have a few more relationships along the line.
I think that like it is always better when the audience can, dream about the chance of being with the main character, right? Like that's why a lot of these main characters are always single or whatever. It's because like you want to give that like little bit of a daydream. But also Fathery kind of said something a couple times. He said this, which always rings true to me, which is like I think most of us have this pop culture idea, like this kind of condensed idea of what Captain Kirk is like, and when you rewatch the actual series you realize, oh yeah, there's like a way more to this character than just
It's
these,
more
like,
layered than yeah.
Yeah,
it's not just these like tropes or these like kind of things.
He's
So
not
I
like
really enjoy
Chris
it,
Pine
like,
in Star Trek 09. He's just like, "Hey, ladies!" Like every time like a woman like walks by.
but he's
You're
like
gonna
yeah.
open with him with two ladies in his bed, right? Like that's Captain Kirk.
Right, it's not Captain Kirk. Well, it's that Captain Kirk for sure.
It's that Captain Kirk.
Triangular Audio Studio says yes to get reaction shots. Shatner asked Nimoy to reenact his pain scene, to which afterwards Shatner cried. Would someone get this Vulcan an aspirin? Oh, is this a joke?
no, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
Shatner actually did do that. He was.
Oh, that's amazing.
He was
Let's see.
a big prankster on the set. He would prank
Yeah.
Nimoy all the time. Like they had these bicycles that they would ride around the set, ride around the studios on bicycles to get around. And Nimoy would Shatner would always hide Nimoy's bicycle. One time he had them like hide it like up in the ceiling. It was like hanging up in there and like the equipment and stuff. And Nimoy's like running around like, "Where is my bike?" He couldn't find it.
Oh my god, it's just the worst.
Mythbusters, Chris wants us to talk about the guest stars in this episode. Several played in a bunch of shows from the 50s through the 70s. I personally, Chris, couldn't think of anyone no one stood out to me from the guest stars. Did any of you guys know any of the guest stars from this episode from other
Yeah, the one
productions?
sort of like who was in charge of it all. He had quite a
The main
career.
guy who kind of talked like this, right?
Yeah,
Like that guy.
he had quite a career
Oh, wow.
outside of in films and TV. I think a few of them did, to be honest, but I think Barry Russo, who played Giotto, he had quite a career as well. But those are the only two that I'm aware of that were in it.
Oh wow.
Very cool.
I mean, if
What
you look up these guys, a lot of these actors on like Wikipedia, they've been in a million movies, right? From the 50s to the 80s or whatever. So these people have like, or maybe just some of them are TV shows, but like these are working actors. They've been in the industry or they had been in the industry for just forever. I wouldn't know any of these things though. I don't know what The Enemy Below or Torpedo Run are.
Oh, I think I think I saw it's a submarine film, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe The Enemy.
And The Enemy Below, I think that's what the one with the Romulans.
Oh wait, you're talking about that's from Star Trek. Okay, sorry.
No. I'm talking. No, it's a film. It's a film. The Enemy Below.
It's a film. Yeah, it's a film to do with a destroyer and a submarine. But
right.
the story with Mark Leonard as the Romulan.
Oh, you're saying that Balance of Terror is based on that?
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been based on that. Oh, that's very cool.
Film. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Cool.
Thank you, Taz.
Yeah, and Taz also says that actually Rand's departure was a far darker, as the actress, according to her biography, was sexually assaulted by an executive of the studio. I actually knew that, and I found that out, and I was very sad and disheartened to find that out. It was Now Cisco will break rules like use biogenic weapons or ignore rules when relating to prophets or using cloaking device in Alpha Quadrant when it was only supposed to be used in the Gamma Quadrant. Oh, I think this is like an answer to something else in the thread, sorry. But thank you. Yeah, Cisco does break the rules. The Pale Moonlight, great episode. Just watched it recently.
Cisco was never on board with the rules in the first place. Like the rules, his wife did, right? Basically, like following the Starfleet rules and the Starfleet way didn't do him too much good. So he's always just finding ways around it.
I think he comes back to the Starfleet kind of like he comes back to being a champion for Starfleet's way, eventually. But yeah. He is disheartened. He is definitely.
It's just that Starfleet's ideals are they're not very realistic. So there's something that you try to live up to as best you can, but there are real world situations where sometimes you have to act in like, I suppose, different ways.
Someone could argue that that's the fact that it's so lofty and so hard to achieve is what makes it worth the while. But
Janeway would. But then she'd go off and do something that isn't very Starfleet anyway.
I think it's just like the writers being a little inconsistent with
yeah, exactly.
That's also very true.
I think the larger thing with Star Trek is that the characters, like all the good Star Trek characters, they will break the rules or bend the rules, whatever, because they deal with hard issues, and you can't just write like a textbook on like, okay, in this scenario do this, this, and this, and then the procedure for this scenario is you do this, and then if that happens you do this. It's like, no, like they deal with like more complicated issues, and
there's no procedure for this thing,
right? And that's a big part of the show is that they do have like these moral conundrums that they get themselves into, and the reason why we watch the show and find it compelling is to see them work their way through that, and that necessitates that. Okay, well, to follow like the spirit of our ideals, sometimes we do have to like bend the rules or break the rules or what have you.
Yeah.
Some people just want to. Oh wait, why did Father go mute?
I didn't. I'm getting a delay.
You're out of sync. Okay.
Yeah.
If every episode was really like, this is the situation, and in the Starfleet handbook it says you have to do this, that, and that, and then they did it, and then it was resolved, it would be boring. I mean, you could make an episode possibly where 4 of those situations arise, and so it shows you, like, it would be an episode about showing you how Starfleet deals with things when they're not out of the ordinary, and you could do like maybe a fun episode on that. but yeah, the whole point is to give us episodes with things that are completely different, like this 2 voyages, they're doubled, and how do you deal with that kind of stuff.
Make it a
Tuvix
boring
keeps
show if they always stuck to the rules as well.
Life would be boring if we always stuck to the rules. I think always there's always going to be a situation where the rules have to evolve. Sometimes the society changes, and we all have to reevaluate certain things. So that's just a part of life, and Star Trek is reflecting that. Try talking again. You've been talking. You've been pretty clear.
Yeah, well, I came off the mic. I've gone straight onto the laptop mic now, so
Gotcha.
I disconnected it. So that's what I did.
We'll figure out the mic. There's got to be something with the setting. It's probably the hertz. We'll look at hertz next.
Tickman stuff, we'll figure it out.
Sometimes I'm not. Mine is easy peasy. I just plug it in and go. But as
tech support Starfleet boy. Hello, how can I help you? How can I fix your computer, sir?
In the pre-show, we determined that Siri is not as cool as Alexa. Apparently,
oh no,
Alexa's
they're both not as cool as the computer.
Do you have one of those infernal devices in your home, listening to everything you say as well? Truck on the Tube.
Me? No, I can't afford one of those infernal devices that record everything I say.
Just wondering.
What? No, we don't. Yeah, this household has gone Amazon free. We don't support Amazon anymore. We don't buy anything off Amazon. They've got too many controversies and horrible things surrounding them. So
good on you. I wish I could talk my girlfriend into going Amazon free, but
they have too many horrible things going on. So yeah, no Alexas.
We'll have to talk a little more offline because I'm a bit in the dark about some of those things, or maybe I just have to go to Google and search. I think
Amazon's the devil in public.
Yeah, Amazon's like the worst.
The devil in the light. Wow. All right, closing thoughts. Any closing thoughts before we rate this episode and say sayonara for another awesome discussion of Star Trek: The Original Series?
I still think it's one of the best episodes of the series. Full stop. Series 1 to 3. It's. I think it's also one that tends to stick in the mind as well for various reasons. I mean, Leonard Nimoy's, the mind meld scene it sticks in the mind for most Trekkies. But yeah, I think it's just one of the best.
Excellent. Robbie?
I think it's a really strong episode, and I really like the performances and the simplicity of the episode. It's just executed really well.
Great. Father?
I don't know. Like, we've already said everything there is to say about it.
Yeah.
Janus 5 is a cool looking planet, and I'm glad that they reuse that look in Star Trek Discovery Episode 3, Context is for Kings, when we get a glimpse of Janus 5.
Oh, it's the same planet?
Yeah, when Michael's in the spore cube and Lorca's like showing her like all these different.
That's right.
The obelisk.
Right. They did keep it. Yeah.
They have
very cool.
Obelisk, and then they had here like these mines on Janus 5.
That was a moment in Discovery where I was so hyped. I was like, we're gonna see these planets, for the first time or whatever. But
oh, very cool. All right. Well, I give this episode a 9.
I'm offended.
I give it 9 Horta eggs out of 10.
I'm offended. I'm offended that you give this episode of the original series a 9, and you can sit there and give Picard's 10s.
Episodes and like the other shows that you've done, like Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery. I would even say the Next Generation
deserves a 10.
How many Next Generation episodes are better than this?
All right, fine. This episode gets a 10. 10 Horta eggs out of 10.
This episode holds up better than a lot of.
You better be giving it a 10 too. I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to hate on modern Star Trek. I'm just saying this episode holds up a lot better than a lot of episodes that we've had recently. But it was from the 60s. Come on, if that's not worth a 10.
All right, it's a 10. It's a 10. I erred. Wow, that's the first time I've been bullied to give the rating going upwards instead of downwards.
Because you're
That's
biased against the original series. You always like underrate the original series
No,
compared to.
I actually love.
Father loves the original series.
Yeah,
season
I
one
actually
more than
love the
anything.
original series, Fathery. I really do. I swear to you,
It's,
like
it's the best Star Trek show that you've covered on Starfleet Boy. Like the only thing better than the original series is Deep Space Nine.
Wow. All right, 10. This episode gets a 10. Go for it. Whoever's next. Let's start with Robbie. Robbie, what's your
Okay,
rating?
we can
for
bully
this
him.
episode?
We're gonna
I give
bully
it
him. We're
a-
giving it a 10.
I give it a 10.
He's like, you don't even have to. Like...
Now everyone's afraid.
Yeah. Let's. Ian,
Peer pressure now.
Ian, what rating do you give this episode?
1.
Oh no!
That's such a lie. I already know that's a lie.
I do give it a 10. I do give it a 10.
We're gonna save the best for last. So, Toddy, what's yours before Fathery?
I also give this a 10. I don't do it often. Like,
He's like, now the pressure's there because I
no,
forced you to give it a
it's because I try to give like a realistic ratings, and so 10 would like 10 means technically that an episode is absolutely perfect, but I don't think that any episode can ever be absolutely perfect. But if you think about Star Trek and what Star Trek is, I think this episode encompasses and reflects what Star Trek is supposed to be on every level, and it's got everything. The sets look great, the props look great, the acting is amazing. It has it's also got that original series meme quality. Like there's so many memes from it. Like it's just like everything is it all comes together very well. So.
And we know Fathery gives us 10 Horta eggs, right? Or whatever.
I actually give this episode 9 silicon eggs out of 10.
You're such a... No, I refuse. I
knew you'd do that.
I'm totally overriding your rating. So it's a 10 from the whole panel. The audience seems to agree as well. We got a 10 out of 10 from Daniel, a 10 from Chris, and then let's see. I can't think of anything to subtract from the score for this one.
Right.
So 10.
Like, what would you change?
Cool.
Like, what would you do differently in this episode? You know, if we're talking about like, if a perfect episode as possible, I don't think I would change anything in this.
This is what Star Trek is. Like when you talk about what is Star Trek supposed to be, I mean, this is pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tass actually says a 9. So Tass, we're gonna bully you now. Into giving this episode a 10. But you can hold firm, it's fine.
He might be trolling us. He's got a little sense of humor sometimes. I've noticed.
I haven't noticed.
Well, this was really enjoyable. Everybody, please go and explore the channels of these fine people who are on this stream, on this panel today. We'll start off with Earl Grey Trekkie 1701 on YouTube, and also Earl Grey Trekkie on Twitter. That's our guy Robbie up there in Scotland. And then a little further south from from where Robbie is, we have Trek Cat, aka Ian, who is now a part of Trek Sphere, which is very cool. And congratulations on that. I think this is the first time we're publicly saying it. I don't remember if we mentioned.
Yeah, it was publicly announced this week. Yeah, but I have done an article which relates to the build that I produced the last weekend of the refit Discovery for the leg up. So so
go check out Trek Cat on YouTube and also on Twitter, and also check out Trek Sphere. Really cool band of creators there. Fathery can be found on Text Trek. There's an awesome new video with Sean and Larry Nemechek on the state of Star Trek. I was really totally into that discussion. Go check it out. Very nice. And then, of course, you can also find Fathery on Starfleet Boy After Dark. So check that out. And, of course, we have our man Trek on the Tube. Yo, I'm behind on your content. I'm so sorry I'm such a bad friend, but I'm going to go catch up today. But I know you released.
I'd like to apologize to Fathery. I stopped commenting last night on the video, like Larry, and it's because I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep on the phone like just watching it, and so I had to go to bed.
That's
fall
really
asleep.
like selling the content there. It's like such
Yeah,
a riveting
thanks.
conversation that
Yeah,
you
like
fell
that's
asleep
great.
during it.
Let's just make a disclaimer to anyone watching this. The reason is because he's a dad. He's got a
Yeah,
new job, and
it's
like
not
so
the
it had
content.
nothing to do with the
It's not
content at all.
It's not the quality.
But since you threw that out there and kind of, out of context, someone could edit it and only show that part of the clip and not have this context. I'm going to put in an out of context thing and just say that Trek on the Tube looked really weird with the Enterprise set behind him. He chose a picture of the set lit fully, like if it's not being filmed, rather than a filming set, which would have been like lit with various lighting and everything like that. So that was very distracting, and I wish that
I will never do it again. Then it's just because I realized that I could green screen on Zoom, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." So I just wrote down TNG set, and then I took the first one that seemed like good quality. I was like, "Boom."
People say I'm a nitpicker.
Anyways,
I also was told to use a Voyager set, not a TNG set, by someone.
Wait, who said that?
That was me.
Oh, Robbie was like, "Don't."
But
use
I just said I like the Voyager set.
I have to say the TNG bridge is one of the worst bridges in Star Trek.
Yeah, I agree too.
Wow, I
Didn't
disagree.
Didn't someone just make like a video like ranking all the bridges?
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
Who did
Who
that?
was that?
it's actually part of Trek Sphere. Help me out, Taz. He'll
Rowan.
tell me, but yeah, he's just recently done it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
my partner, she just sees that one. She goes, "It's so beige. How beige can a bridge be?" And you can't. You have to. I have to agree with her. It's it's
Yeah.
not good.
I don't like the exterior of the Galaxy class either. I've never liked that design.
Oh wow, I didn't like it at first. So who made the video, Robbie? Did you know?
I'm just
who it was?
going to find out for you guys.
Rowan.
It's Ronan Coleman, isn't it? Ronan J. Coleman.
Yeah,
I think
Oh,
it is.
okay, cool, very cool.
he does a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, check it out, everyone.
Yeah.
I think the best bridge, by the way, just to put it on record again, is the Star Trek VI Enterprise bridge. To me, it's the most
That's my favorite,
attractive.
too.
Yeah, it's the best bridge.
And
So
I
far.
don't want to spoil his video, but he had like a very interesting choice for number one. That
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
would
All right,
spark
I'll go
some-
check. Well,
I
I'll check it
I
out.
actually do agree with. I agree with his number one.
I like the number one. I actually like really like it.
Oh, now I'm gonna go check this out.
Is it the Rossi?
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. We'll
Course
talk
not.
about it on the. We can talk
No.
about it on the.
That's
after-
not that's
on
not
the
Star
after
Trek.
chat.
That's
By the way,
another show.
check out our discussion last night. We had an awesome TQIF. So I mentioned Father, but I forgot to mention PJ has a show that he does before also now on Fridays, like right before Father's videos. Father, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing, kind of to our Expanse conversation from last night. This episode, Devil in the Dark, this is a perfect example of why I say that I like Star Trek more than the Expanse, and why I say like Expanse like as incredibly well polished and produced, and the strong craft that goes into making that brilliant show. It doesn't have stuff like this. It doesn't have like these strong morals or messages. It's not a show with that level of substance, and that's why I will always like Star Trek over The Expanse.
We'll have to have a follow-up discussion on Starfleet Boy After Dark, but if you guys want to hear our full discussion of season 5 of The Expanse, we were drinking a little, so it's a little out all over the place perhaps, but it actually seemed enjoyable. A lot of people commented last night that they liked the conversation, so go check out our Expanse and WandaVision discussion on Starfleet Boy After Dark. I think that was the most cohesive Starfleet Boy After Dark we've done in a long time, where we stayed on topic.
I have to go get ready for something that I'm recording. So
All right.
we'll be out soon, so I got to go. But
Well,
good to see
I'm
y'all.
just gonna say goodbye. So everyone,
10 out of
check out
10.
PJ's channel, Boat Wreck, as well. And there's an interview with me on it. I was his first subject, so go check that out. Live long and prosper, everyone.